Welcome to the Creative Mind Smart Money podcast, where we turn financial confusion into creative confidence. I'm Samantha Eck, bookkeeper and fractional CFO for creative entrepreneurs. Each week, I'm sharing my financial expertise and actionable strategies to help you build a thriving creative business. Plus, you'll hear from industry experts who bring fresh perspectives on growing your business beyond the numbers. Because building a successful creative business starts with strong financial foundations. Your next chapter starts now. You're listening to the Creative Mind Smart Money podcast, and today I am so excited to welcome Mandy and Jamie from Coffee with M and J. How are you both today?
We're good. Jamie?
I'm good. Thank you for having us on.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful day outside. Let's kick things off. Tell me a bit about who you are, what it is that you both do, and kind of like what lights up your work lately.
Jamie, you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
It doesn't matter. I can go first. Hi, my name is Jamie Maddox. Jamie Maddox. Apparently, my words are twisted today. I am a daily habits coach, speaker, author, co-host of the Coffee with M and J podcast. I am a cancer survivor, lots of other health issues, and all of that got me to where I am today. And it is really practicing tools, right? I teach people practical tools that they can fit into their lives. And the podcast is what we really want to focus on today. So I'm just going to keep it like super short and let Mandy keep it super short so we can talk about the podcasts too.
Yes. Mandy Hedrick with MJ Designs and Marketing. I almost forgot my business name, which is crazy. Sometimes I will mix my business name up. I was like, oh my gosh, what is my brain doing? Anyways, do social media and graphic designs, all things marketing for small businesses and nonprofits. And Jamie and I met networking. And so we have a really big passion around community. And we were having really deep conversations that led to why are we not recording this and making it into a podcast? So that's how Coffee with M and J started. So, but lighting me up in my work right now, I just went on a conference a few weeks ago and my mind is still spinning from the conference. So, yeah, that's what's lighting me up. Jamie?
That's so exciting.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, was I supposed to say something that was lighting me up? I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay, so and I think you talk about messing up your business name. I don't even know if I said mine. It's New Soul Rising. And really, honestly, the thing that lights me up the most these days is working with people. When I am actually with my clients in session, like that's like, I mean, I have lots of bigger whys as to why I'm doing everything I'm doing in my personal life, but oh my gosh, when you get to not only witness but assist people in changing their lives, that lights me up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I love that you said that too, because I feel like that's what lights me up in my work is when I get to change the lives of the people I work with and like see their progress and everything. It's so exciting. It's just an exciting feeling for sure. But I know you guys are very community focused. So I want to talk a lot about like, yes, your podcast, but the business as well. What do you think the biggest turning points in your life or business were? And what role did taking action play? Because I know that you guys want, one of the things you want to talk about was taking action. So what role did taking action play in those biggest turning points?
So when we started the podcast, we took messy action. We didn't sit and hoe and hum and think. And we literally went from 0 to 90 in like 10 days time. Would you agree with that, Jamie? It was really fast. It was like, we can figure this out.
From the conversation in my hallway where I was like, oh my gosh, why are we not recording this? This is content gold. To the first recording, I think it was 3 weeks. Like total from that conversation to actually having a podcast recorded. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't necessarily air that fast, but we were pretty quick on getting it up and ready to go. And I think it was around the same time you started your podcast. Yeah, we were in that same mindset, same like, I think this was going to happen. And it really was just taking the action and not letting the, I don't want to say fear, but the unknowns or the what ifs or how do we stop you, right? Like Google's your friend. YouTube's your
Yes.
friend. Figure it out. It's not anything that, just try something new.
Yes.
Okay, so when we started the podcast, we did take messy action. I think a big distinction that I want to throw out there is Mandy and I are very different. For as much as we have a lot of common core values and passions for serving the community and building community and all of the things, I, especially historically, have found action so uncomfortable that I've let the discomfort stop me. And Mandy has a completely opposite perspective on action. She is just an action taker. So I think your question was like, what was the biggest action or how did it, what
Turning point.
exactly was the wording?
The
The
turning.
biggest
the
turning
turning
point.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm in the middle of the biggest turning point right now. And the only way you can create any momentum in your life is by taking action. Take messy action. Wash one dish at a time. If you don't have time to wash all the dishes, wash one dish at a time. And I know that's silly, but when I tell you, you have to start the action somewhere, you have to start anywhere that you can actually take that step. Does not matter what it is, but action, if you're not in action, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yes. No, I completely agree. I think it's almost been a year now because July was when I released my podcast. And I was so scared. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. But the thing I also had at the back of my mind is, do I enjoy doing it? Because I was like, if I enjoy it, it doesn't matter if there's 10,000 people listening, 100,000 people listening. I just want myself to enjoy the content I'm producing so that I feel good about it. And then if the people come in and are like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, great. But like, at least I'm having fun creating content and like getting out there and doing something that I actually love doing to promote my business or like even talk about what I teach. So
Totally agree. I don't know if you've had the aha moments like we have where you're seeing conversations come full circle back to your podcast and you're like, oh, I made an impact or we made an impact. And it's really cool. They're just like
yeah.
you see the action being taken that you talked about. And so you're like, was that from? And they're like, yes. And you're like, oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. That was totally random and lots of blah, blah, blahs, but
No,
No,
it's
but
so
I
true.
think, yeah, and I think not just in podcasting, but I mean, Samantha, I think you touched on the most important thing is the fun. How much
Yes.
fun are you having with it? Because we are having fun with it. We both have very full schedules, but the podcast, it is fun. And there was something else you said, Mandy, that I wanted to touch on. And of course, it's just zipped right out of my brain. But I think that having fun, seeing the impact in the community play out in real life is not something we all get to witness often. So I think Mandy and I are still basking in that one. A community event. Literally, one of our guests was sharing that they wanted to have an event, and one of our listeners made that event happen. So as long as your messages are reaching the right people, the numbers aren't as important.
Yes. I think that's so true too, because I've had people who've approached me and been like, this is exactly what I was looking for. I just needed to know a little bit more information on it. Like, I think one of my most popular episodes was the quarterly taxes one because people like don't know what quarterly taxes are. And I know Mandy because she used to work with the IRS, but like people don't know. There's not enough education on it. The IRS is just like, pay quarterly taxes. And people are like, I have to pay more taxes. And I'm like, what happened was it was that ripple effect, exactly what you're talking about, where people were like, oh my gosh, like I just needed to know a little bit more information about it. Now I'm not so scared or worried about it because like, sometimes all they need is just that little push in the right direction.
totally. Totally. Just like I listened to your recent podcast about hiring a contractor, which I've hired contractors before, but they've always kind of been under the $600 amount because it's just been like one-offs here and there. But I was getting ready to do like a long term, and I was like, oh, it was so just good to hear like I was in the going the right directions, the right steps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like that's builds that confidence because yeah, like you do want to take action, but you want to feel like you kind of know what you're doing before you take action just a little bit.
Right. At least that you're in the right movement and not necessarily like, oh, I should have if I would have known.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure.
Yes. So you guys actually answered a couple of the questions I have, but let's shift and answer maybe some things like in your business as well. What's a moment when you were scared to take the leap but did it anyway? And then kind of what happened because of that?
So
Go, Mandy, go.
Jamie always tells me I'm like the odd bird out here, but I'm not really ever afraid to make that leap. I am not a roadblock kind of person. I am oh, that's not going to work. Let me pivot. Let me adjust. Let me go over, under, to the left, to the right. Maybe I need to spread some wings for a short amount of time. But I don't really let obstacles stop me. And it's just always been a mindset I've had. It's not necessarily something that like I've worked on, or Jamie and I have talked about this quite a bit. In fact, we were reviewing all your podcast questions together, and it was just one of those things that we're like, I don't know how to answer that one because I don't really feel like it applies to me, which is weird to say. I don't know, but every day's a new adventure. Go for it. What are you waiting for?
Yes. Yes.
What about you, Jamie?
So I have trouble choosing one defining thing, and I'm on the polar, like I'm on the total opposite side of Mandy. Like I cannot stress this enough that I, from a very young age, started developing limiting beliefs about myself and about the world. And I can't tell you how many times they have stopped me. So when I tell you, just take the first step, just take the first step, I can't stress that enough. One of the first pivotal moments for me in building my business was beginning to network in person. It was terrifying to walk by yourself, walk into a room of strangers, and like that day, I learned what an elevator pitch was. And that one, I was the person bumbling for 3 minutes. But you can't know until you go do.
Jamie was the person that Mandy's like, oh my gosh, just stop talking already and get to your point and move on.
But Mandy was also the person, because we started networking around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Mandy was the person who would just be like, Mandy, marketing.
Yep, that was me.
But
you did it. Yes.
No, it's true. I felt the same way when I went to my first one because I think I told Mandy this, but I always talk about the way that I started my business was I was in corporate accounting, but I wanted to do something like for myself. I just had no idea how to handle clients. I was like, I don't know how to handle people. I can do the work, but I'm like, I don't know like the back end client part of it. And so the course I took was like, yeah, go out, talk to people. And I went out to a networking event, like my very first one. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the one that's in San Marcos at the Kirby Lane.
Mm-hmm.
That was the very first one I went to. I had no idea what to expect. And everyone was clumped together. So I was like, how do I go and talk to people? What do I say? I have a business card. Do I just hand out my business card? And then I also learned that's not something you do either. Usually people will ask for your business card. And then same experience. When they were like, hey, tell us a bit about your business. I was like, I'm a bookkeeper.
So good trick for anybody that's listening that might be starting their journey. If you want to give your business card, ask for somebody else's business card first. Yes. And then you'll be like, oh, here's mine. And you trade.
Yes. That's a really good one because I feel like you don't know that. You're like, what do I do? Like, you bring that in preparation, but I was also that said, like, I don't want to be like sleazy. I don't want to be like, here, just take my business card.
Yep.
I'm like, I wanna actually engage and like meet people and like get to know people around the area. So I feel like that's such good advice, because I feel like there's so much surrounding in-person networking that's like an unknown, and it's such a like gut reaction. It's like that fear. So
Yes.
that's something very messy that you take, but you just kind of grow the more you do it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And
Yes.
each group has its own little nuances too.
Yes.
And the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, practice your elevator pitch. Like, if we're going for tips here, if you are a young business, if you are like, know what you get, very really clear on what you do.
Mhm. And who your ideal client is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like that does come with time. Like, sometimes you're in that stage where you're like, I don't know who my ideal client is yet, but I'm trying to get into business. And that does take time. But the
Mhm.
point of it is just like trying to figure that out and trying to work it out. Like, I did BNI for for pretty much a year. And like, that boosted my confidence tons, so that when I went to these networking events, I definitely felt less intimidated,
Mhm.
because I used to also feel intimidated by the fact that there was someone else there that also did the same thing that I do. I'm like, should I even say what I do? Because there's someone else that already does what I do. But I'm like, there's no competition. Like,
No.
people connect with people. They don't connect because you're a bookkeeper. They don't connect because you're in marketing. You know, they don't connect because you're a coach. They connect because of you. They're like, I like you. I want to work with you.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. I personally like to network with other marketing people because, like, if I've met somebody and I'm like, it's not really my ideal client, I want to be able to be like, hey, have you met this person? I feel like they'd be a really good fit for your business. So I personally like to meet and talk with other people that do the same thing.
Yes, I do too, because I feel you only like kind of similar. You only know what you know.
Yep.
And if you're living in a bubble and you're like, hey, this is that I know everything I need to know, but like someone else who has the same experience as you can come in and say, like, have you tried this? And you're like, I didn't even think of that.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
It's the different perspectives. It's the
Yes.
different perspectives. I think it's hard for a lot of people. I'm just going out on my own here, but I think it's really hard for a lot of people to let go of the comparison.
Yes.
Like what they're doing, how far they've come, how much money they're making, how many followers they have, how pretty their feed is, how I can't post this because it'll mess up my pretty feed. I think that, what do they say? Comparison is the robber of joy, or the thief of authenticity.
Mhm.
Yep. And you just
Yeah.
have to be yourself. Like, no one is gonna compare you to another bookkeeper because they're like, wow, like, she's herself, but she's really cool. Like, they're looking at you because they like you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Last season, we had a lot of people on in the podcast that had very similar things to say in a roundabout way. We did a whole season on community, which we've adjusted our podcast. We're no longer doing seasons like randomly. Beginning of season 3, we're like, I think we're going to drop seasons. We're just going to podcast. I don't know if you had one of those moments where you've grown your podcast and all of a sudden you're like, I think it's time to pivot. Or if you're just like, no, I'm sure we're good. But it's interesting because every single one of them had something similar to say, but they all said it differently. What was the one phrase, Jamie? Do you remember?
Giver's gain.
Giver's gain. Yeah.
Yes.
So-
When you show up and you build the relationship, everything else falls into place. I can't remember who it was. We even talked about Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
But that is the relationship we're talking about.
Yeah.
Build the relationship with the people. Your people will be attracted to you. And I don't know, I think you touched on something, and I think there's a lot that goes on in networking where I think most people weed out the people that are like just trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yep.
think there are certain people that really do get that reputation. But yeah, season 2 in Community, it was absolutely amazing to have so many different people share so many different perspectives. And it all came back to the giver's gain.
It did.
Yes.
It did.
Yes. I actually there's an episode coming out at the beginning of May where I talked to a lady and she was talking. She said that one of her friends has always told her it's like commission breath is what she calls it. Like, you know how you have coffee breath? She's like, when someone walks up to you and you just know that they're trying to sell you on something.
Commission breath. That's fantastic. I think that might be like my new, like, oh my gosh. Have you had that meeting yet? Because they have commission breath. I seriously, though, because quite a few people in networking are connected and are friends. And
Yeah.
like literally, if you're just there to make a sales pitch, it goes really fast. And then you don't make any more meetings because people are like, no, I'm going to need to pass on that because they know the sales pitch that's coming. So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's another thing that's like a great like tip. Like go in there with the intent of connection. Don't go in there with the intent of making a sale. Sure, you could make a sale. You could walk in and walk out with someone who's like, I absolutely want to work with you. But that's not the intention that you have to go in with because people can tell the difference between your intention and like what you're trying to portray.
completely.
Where do you personally draw the line between preparation and procrastination, especially like when it comes to things like the podcast?
I feel like it helps having two of us because like I'm in a really busy season right now, which means Jamie's picked up most of the podcast duties versus I know there will be a time where Jamie's going to be really busy and I'll be holding all the podcast duties. So I feel like having two of us really helps to balance that. But as Jamie, she has a completely different answer.
Oh, I was waiting for you to say this doesn't apply to me because I'm an action taker,
That
which is true. Right? Mandy
Yeah.
is an action taker. No, it's really interesting because I do often find myself in that space where I'm asking questions like, am I genuinely exhausted and I need this rest? Or am I putting off what I really need to do, but I don't want to do? I find myself sometimes in that space every day. Like as a solopreneur, even if you have some employees or contract employees, it's still you are your main source of motivation 24/7. Sometimes that's exhausting, like motivating yourself always to keep going and checking in with your mindset and make sure you're. But when it comes to the podcast, that's the problem. I love like, I will stop. Wait, Mandy will message me and be like, "Oh, something this or something that." And I'm like, on it. I stop everything I do and go directly to the podcast. And I think it's because I just am having fun with the podcast.
Yes.
And when you're not doing it solo, it's easier to take that action. It is so much easier to just do it, not from a place of I don't want to disappoint Mandy, which I don't, but I don't know. So the podcast is really interesting. I think when you hit that passion, then you don't procrastinate. You just don't.
Yes. Yes, I think that's so true because I feel the same way. Like every time I sit down to do like my bulk recordings, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like I want to edit them. I want to get all the things for them. And every time I go on Threads and I'm like, I can't wait for you all to see what's coming because I'm so jazzed about it.
It's true. I don't know, when it's a passion project,
Yes.
it hits different. It just does.
It does. Yeah, because I think there's so much in business, like in terms of like marketing avenues that are so serious, like, or people consider serious, like Instagram, like LinkedIn, like things like that. People are just like, you have to be like rigid and like fit into a box in order to get anywhere. And so it feels like it sucks the fun out of it. Whereas like with podcasting, it's almost like your own platform and you get to portray it in the way that you see best fit. And that's I think what makes it fun is because like You get to show off who you really are without the pressure of feeling like someone's looking over your shoulder consistently, being like, that's not the way a podcast is supposed to be done.
So true. Here's the box or bubble, and I'm like, la 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 la.
Yes.
I'm not really a fit into a check mark kind of person. Yeah. We have a lot of fun with it.
Usually, I think I'll let you ask another question instead of answering it before you ask.
No, yeah. Let's roll into collaboration. What's one of your favorite ways you partnered with someone in business?
I think it's the
Podcasts.
podcast.
Yeah, for sure. I think you had some really good questions about collaboration. So I feel like when you're collaborating with other people, you have to be very mindful of coming to a place where you are in sync with your
Yeah.
goals and ideas. It can't just be you're going rogue, right? In your own business, you can go rogue as much as you want because it only affects you, or in your own personal life, whatever. But when you are collaborating with somebody else, even on one podcast, right, you have to be mindful of, even though it is your podcast, but still you're having a guest on. And as guests, we're going to be mindful of what your vision is also. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's just the biggest part of collaborating in any way, whether you're inviting someone to collaborate on a post or you're doing an event together, is making sure that everybody is on common grounds.
I actually had a lot of fun yesterday as we were going through the questions. I just read off the questions and we took turns practicing what we may or may not say. And I don't know about you ladies, but it doesn't matter how many times I practice something, it always comes out a little bit different anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing that I loved the most about our conversation yesterday in reviewing these questions was we got really clear. Not every collaboration comes together the way Mandy and I came together. Like,
Yeah.
we have a contract. We communicate. This was part of our conversation yesterday because I absolutely think of Mandy when I am posting in stories, like when I'm on Coffee with M&J and I'm the one posting in the story or making the post or this or that. Because the podcast is both of us as a merge. Like, I wouldn't necessarily just go out on Coffee with M&J and post a random video of me
Yes.
talking about whatever I'm talking about. It's not on brand. It's not what we do. I have respect that Mandy would know. Even the way we comment, we keep each other in mind. So I think if you're looking to collaborate with people, you have to be able to communicate with them and
Yes.
establish boundaries. And Mandy and I don't always agree on everything. So there's compromises that are made on both sides.
Yep.
And Mandy, what have you had to practice working with me, who is not like you?
So at a networking event, we were able to present our podcast and we had 3 minutes and Jamie wanted to like practice a skit. But I'm like, nope, can't do that. I'm not skit material. You have the wrong sister in the family if you want to do a skit. My little sister, she would have been like all for it, right? Can we bring outfits? And I'm like, no, that doesn't work for me. It's a compromise, right? I was like, no, we can wing this. It's 3 minutes. It'll be fine. And Jamie's, no, we got to talk about this. We got to have a plan. I'm like, no, it's fine. And so compromise was, we talked a lot about what we were going to talk about. And then we went for it, right? That was the compromise. But knowing on how far you can push somebody to meet that you're collaborating with is important.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
love that. And I love that you guys are really talking about getting into it deep, because I feel like there are a lot of people who don't have it in their podcasts.
Mhm.
But I think this also applies to people who are guesting on a show, like being on the same page. And I feel like a lot of the times when you put things out there, like on threads and things like that, like there was one guest specifically that I had that I turned down who just applied out of the blue. They didn't comment on anything. I didn't get to know them. And that's why I stopped posting just my application everywhere, because I was like, I want people who actually like want to be on the podcast for the right reasons,
Mhm.
and not just be like,
Mhm.
I want to be on the podcast. I'm like, and it was one of the first 2 or 3 interviews that I was doing. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing yet.
We actually have one sitting out there that's very similar. I'm like, I don't even know that like you fit into what our podcast
Yeah.
is. Like, it was totally random to be on the podcast. Like, I'm like, it doesn't really work. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally get that.
And running down the middle of the road, playing devil's advocate, it's always a no if you don't ask. And as business owners, we have to be empowered in our no's and our boundaries, right?
Yes.
So,
Valid.
Mandy and I have talked about, but not yet experienced, having someone that neither one of us knows on the podcast. So far,
Yeah.
all of our guests, either we both know or one of us knows enough to know and trust. And the day is going to come when we have people on that we really don't know. And we've even had that conversation because so what happens if you have somebody on? I don't know what your show is rated, so I'll keep my potty mouth aside. I'll keep it closed. But what happens if somebody records and it's junk? And that's the best I can say, because I want to yell. What if it's S? Like all dramatic. Mandy's looking at me funny. She's like, Jamie, shut up. But I think the whole collaboration thing goes so far beyond just podcasts, right?
Yes.
And
Yep.
okay, one thing that I have really, really learned in my business is if you are doing contract work, get the contract signed before you start the contract work.
Yes.
Do a contract. Mandy and I are friends, and we have a contract for the podcast. And somewhere in that podcast is, a clause that no matter what happens, like it's all good.
What
Like,
happens
no
in the
bad
podcast
talking,
stays
no-
in the podcast, just like Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact,
So I
we
think
went
that's
as far
important.
as we've started sending our guests contracts to be on the
Yeah.
podcast. Just
Mhm.
knowing that they're accepting that we're going to be sharing their likeness and their voice and videos for
Yeah.
as long as the podcast exists. So,
Yes.
and I think
Yeah.
that there's nothing wrong with being upfront with what that looks like for guests, for us. You know what I mean? I think it's an important part.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm actually at that stage where I'm going to start doing that as well. I'm pulling back a little bit from guests because what I've noticed is a lot of the times the guest episodes don't perform the same as like the solo episodes. And what I've learned is that from my talking to the audience a little bit is that they are there for mainly to hear about what I'm talking about. So that's what they want to hear about. So when you have a guest, they really want to connect with that guest. And I think that's why I'm so picky when I pick people to put onto the podcast, because I'm like, I want them to bring value. And I think this is such a this conversation specifically is so valuable because people just collaborate. They're like, oh, I'll just collaborate with whoever. But I feel like you really need to get that aligned collaboration. Otherwise, you're just speaking out into the void.
We totally learned that last season. Yeah. Yep. Lesson learned. Check.
Yes, and I absolutely love that you went there because again, sometimes when we can watch what other people are doing, valuable lessons there too, not from a place of judgment, from a place of observation. So, how often do you see people at a networking event that you go to all the time? And then they're like, "Oh, let's do this workshop together." And then you're asking one or the other about the workshop, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know. We just met last month." And I'm always like, what the heck? Like, excuse me, but that's like getting in bed with a total stranger, right?
Yes.
Like, you are preparing. Sorry, ladies. I hope that's okay.
No, it's like
You're preparing a workshop together and you just met. You don't even know if you like each other.
Well, you don't even know how the other person presents.
yes.
Right? Like, what if they get up there and talk the whole time? And you're like, well, there goes my whole hour and a half gone. Because the other
Yes.
person talked for 3 hours. Like, you don't even know.
I think that's so true because you don't know them as a person. They could go up and say something that's completely off the wall and you're like, what did they just say?
Mm.
And you're like, I don't agree with that. But then how do you how would you approach that? Like, if you don't agree with it in that moment, you're kind of stuck, right? Like, especially if you're at that
Mhm.
workshop.
And you've
engineering.
already hitched to the horse and you're stuck because you're like, I philosophically do not agree with what just came out of their mouth, but they just sold it as it's both of us agreeing to this. And now
Yep.
do I get up and contradict them? Do I go, actually, that's not how I feel about it? Or here's a different perspective. Like, you're really putting yourself in a bind without fully vetting the relationship before you jump.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And
Yes.
just because people come up to you and want to collaborate with you, seriously does not mean you have to say yes. We could go down the road of people pleasing where everybody says yes to everything. Or like, I'm in such a frenzy to get myself out there, get myself out there. I'm just going to work with anybody. I started working with this girl. She's not a girl. She's older than me. She's 50 something a couple of years back. And the more time, like we became fast friends, we started doing all kinds of stuff together. And the more I was around her, the less I liked her. And I had to break up with her as a collaborator first and then as a friend. And she didn't like it very much. And I felt like I was like in that role of like dumping a romantic partner and then like texting you at 3 a.m. I'm so sad, like here with friends.
Yeah.
Just so awkward. And people are not willing to go into the awkward the way I am. So I know that, but it can get so, I mean, but I guess maybe if there are lessons you have to learn, as long as you learn the
Yes.
lessons from them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's true. Yes, there are lessons you have to learn, but you have to actually like garner what you're trying to learn.
You have to realize that it
Right.
was a lesson.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
To bounce off of all this, what would you say to someone who's really hesitant to collaborate because they're afraid to give up control?
I feel like making sure personally what your boundaries are and that you communicate well. Because if you can't honestly come into a collaboration relationship and say, this is my boundary, it's a hard no here, how you can't expect the other person to be able to respect that. And you might get a few weeks into a collaboration and be like, oh, actually, this isn't working out. You have to be able to know when to back out, right? And be able to be upfront and be like, nope, nope, this isn't going to work. Or, life's taking a different route and this isn't working. I mean, whatever you need to say for yourself to feel good about it. But I feel like being able to be honest is a super big part of that.
Yes.
I agree. You have to be willing to be honest with yourself, honest with the other person. Communication is key in every relationship. If you do not have communication, you do not have a relationship. And that was just piggybacking off of what Mandy said. But I had a really great thing to say. And of course, it's gone again because this is my brain. Like, I have my coffee and everything. Ask the question again, and maybe it'll come back.
It was, what would you say to someone who's hesitant to collaborate because they're afraid of giving up control?
If you have the right person, if you are collaborating with the right person, I think it's easier to compromise. It's just the compromise. You have
Yeah.
to be willing to compromise. We can take this to the giver's gain. What are you willing to invest? But I mean, a true collaboration, I guess I just want to bring every single piece of this back to the quality of your relationships, because the quality of your collaborations is like Mandy has, yeah. Mandy has the most wonderful marriage. Like, I am not an envious person, and I just look at them like the green M&M and Santa commercial. They do exist. Like, it does exist. Like, that's not my experience, but it does exist. And I also know that because this collaboration is working, that I can communicate. But I'm going to take Mandy's words. Stop being scared and just go do it.
Yes.
Try it.
Yeah.
You don't know that you can't
I
do it if you don't.
remembered.
Ooh, I like this. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I finally remembered.
No,
Okay,
that's
this is
okay.
actually a practical tip. Stop and really ask yourself, is this in alignment? Is this project in alignment with my core values? Is this person in alignment with my core values? Does
Yes.
this feel good in my body? Does it feel safe? Like, if any of those answers are no, well, maybe that collaboration's not for you.
Unless you say no to everything, then you have to be careful because
Yes.
are you just afraid? And so everything's off the table. And sometimes you have to take some
Mhm.
rest. Maybe it needs to start small. Maybe you're on someone's podcast, or maybe you collaborate on a post or a small project before you do something big. Test the waters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I think that's really good advice, actually. If you're thinking of collaborating with someone, just start with like something small, maybe like an email swap or something like that, just to get an idea of who they are. Because I
Mhm.
feel like, when we're going back to what we were talking about with random people coming onto the podcast, I've gotten to the point where I've started getting pitched in my email, and
Yeah.
I don't know these people. I've never interacted with these people, and it's from PR people. So I'm always hesitant because I'm like,
You're like,
who are they? Who are they? Like, I don't know the person. And I'm like, I'm happy to have them on the podcast, but they themselves need to fill out my like application form.
and you're like, and also I'm not paying them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if someone says that, because I think there was one guy, and I don't know, maybe they're listening to this, but it was it was the CEO of BlackRock Coffee.
Oh.
Is what the guy pitched me, and I was like, that's random. Like,
And you're like,
why does
that
he
would
want
be
to be?
really cool.
Yeah, that's what I told my husband.
I'm on Earth.
I was like, that's cool, but like, does he fit really with the audience that I'm going for? Like, what is he going to teach specifically my audience? But then also, like, does he really, like, I don't know him. Like, I've never met him. I'm sure he's busy because he's the CEO of like this huge company. And I'm like, does he have the time to actually fill out the form and interact with me? Because I told them, every person, I'm like, that's very important to me. And the one PR lady was like, well, that's why she hired me, so that she could, focus on what she does best. And I'm like, well, I get it. But at the same point, like, I want to know the people who are coming onto my podcast and who are going to be speaking to like my audience. Cause I'm almost kind of like protective of my audience a little bit. And I'm
Yes.
like, I want them to actually learn something. I don't want you to just come on so you can like pitch your business.
For sure. That's interesting though.
Yeah,
We're not there yet.
it really was.
We're not
What do you
getting
mean we're not there?
we're not getting PR pitches yet.
I don't know if they're PR pitches. We're getting a few emails. I don't know. I ignored them. I ignore most of them like that. I got
Yeah.
one in my inbox this morning that I'm sure it's spam, but it seemed like I want to know more about it.
Don't click on the links.
I'm not clicking on anything. I am taking the names and going over to Google.
Yes.
Like, okay, so there you go, people. Like, spam alert. Like, don't click on the links. Fact check on Google. I don't know. I don't think people should be scared of collaborations, but when collaborations are with the right people, I think it feels different.
Yes.
I think if you are actually listening to your deep inner knowing, your intuition, whatever you want to call it, if you're really listening, you know if it's a good fit.
Yes.
And if you're not, well, I don't even know.
Yes. Exactly. So whether it's launching something new or working with others, how do you stay grounded in who you are when you're outside of your comfort zone?
This one would be really hard for me to answer, so I'm going to just say pass. Jamie gets the answer. I don't really have much of an outside of a comfort zone unless it's public speaking, which I do force myself. That's part of why I network, is to get up and speak in front of people, even if it's just for 30 seconds. It's just pushing myself to do the action. But that's about the only place where I feel outside my comfort zone is public speaking. Jamie, you up, tag.
Oh yeah, of course I have a lot of words. I always have a lot of words. How do I stay grounded outside of my comfort zone? There's a lot of things. I meditate, I walk, I practice yoga, I teach yoga. Basically, I practice the tools that I teach. And this isn't something that I talk about a lot, but I'm an empath. I feel a lot of things, and keeping myself in this bubble, like putting myself in this energetic bubble, it really helps me stay focused because it's like putting on noise canceling headphones, right? Drowning out the noise and and I don't think most people give themselves enough breaks to go out and get 10 minutes of fresh air or some vitamin
Yes.
D from the sun, or just to shut the mental chatter that never shuts up.
Yep.
Just, I think a lot of people don't even give themselves 5 minutes a day for that. So I say take off your shoes, even with the chance of fire ants, and put your feet in the grass. Or if you're somewhere else, like wherever you are, I practice a lot of tools. And sometimes lose the grounding anyway.
Yes. I feel like it is hard, especially when you are outside of your comfort zone. And I find that too. Like, I've had to try and find my footing because, like, what I tend to do when I'm outside of my comfort zone, like with BNI, a lot of the time is I put up like a face. I was like, this is my extrovert self because I'm super introverted. And I'm like, this is my extrovert self. I'm going to be super bubbly and super happy. And I'm like, but my introvert self is like, I'm like drained now. Can I go home?
Yeah.
And you're like, and can there be less words, please? Can there just be less words now? You drive
Yes.
home, you have no music on.
Yeah.
You're like, I need nothing but silence and coffee. Silence and coffee. Yeah.
Yep. Yep, exactly. So, looking back on everything that's gone on in your business and the podcast, is there a piece of advice or mindset shift that's really changed the game for you?
Come on, Mandy, you got to have something.
Take the leap and go for it. I don't know that it's necessarily a mindset shift. We took the leap and went for the podcast. In my business, I was doing something else completely different, but I've done marketing for like 17 years at this point. Always freelanced, always on the side, always hustled for other people. Like, it's always been something that I have not done for like as a business, right? It's always been my side hustle. And about 3 years ago, I was volunteering and doing social media, in particular marketing, for a local nonprofit. And it was one of those, I was literally sitting at a band competition. I'm like, why am I not doing this for myself full time? Why am I not doing this for myself full time? That was in October. And by March, I had jumped full time and took a chance on myself and I had started my business, got my LLC, did all the things. But from October to March, I quit my job. So I would say, like, what are you waiting for? Go for it. Like,
Yes.
jump, take action, go. Jamie?
Yes.
Well, I have experienced a lot of mindset shifts over the last decade, a lot more in the last 5 years. And they're just, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many pivotal moments are possible if you're willing to just stay in the uncomfortable, right? Just step into the uncomfortable. But the biggest mindset shift, or the first mindset shift that I recognized as part of my autonomic nervous system from practicing every day, was gratitude. And I mean, if you are not grateful for what you have, how do you expect to get more? Every morning, the very first thing before my eyes are even open is, I'm so grateful I'm alive today. And then I wiggle my toes and I'm so grateful my toes are working. And so cultivating gratitude, you use your conscious mind to remind yourself to be grateful for things. And then you just are grateful for things and stuff doesn't suck so bad.
Doesn't suck so bad. Tagline, stuff doesn't suck so bad.
I'm so glad I'm making you ladies laugh today. Like, no, I'm actually like supposed to be a comedian. I don't know.
I feel that's good. That's really good advice, though. and I feel like that's all so important. And I love the conversation that we've had today. And I feel like it's really valuable, not just for like us to also grow, because I feel like every conversation I have, we grow from it, but also for people listening. Before we kind of get into the wrap up, how can people stay connected with you or dig deeper into your work?
So you can find us on all the channels at Coffee with M and J. That's the podcast. And it's literally us two having coffee, chatting about life, business. We have guests on. So that's where you can connect with us if you're interested. My personal business is MJ Designs and Marketing, and social media, graphic design, marketing tips for small businesses and nonprofits. And Jamie, your turn. Take it away.
Yes. So personally, you can find New Soul Rising, NEWSOUL. I don't know why people have trouble with this, rising. They always want to make it a SOL. I'm like, no. Anyway, New Soul Rising everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, it's all very congruent. So with Coffee with M and J, yes, you can literally find us everywhere. Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio. We are getting all of the episodes onto YouTube video as fast as we can. We would definitely love for you to join us and join our community news. Even though our seasons are both really busy, we're working on more exciting things to come in the near future. And we would love for you to join that list so you can stay updated. And I would be remiss to say, like, we just want you to listen. We want you to listen.
Yes.
We want to know what's in your cup. We start every episode with what's in your cup. And we really want to have these conversations with you. Like, we really want to know how not how we're impacting you, but like what aligned action you're taking because you felt inspired, or how a particular guest made you feel, or so we just really, really, really want to encourage everyone to download, to listen, to share, all the places, all the usual places.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you both coming on today so much. It was great to have you.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, y'all, how good was that? Mandy and Jamie brought the heart, the humor, and the real talk we all need when it comes to collaboration, taking messy action, and building community with actual intention. Not from a place of pressure or perfection, but from trusting yourself, staying aligned, and knowing that fun and fulfillment are just as strategic as any plan. And if you're sitting on an idea, a dream, a podcast you've been thinking about for weeks, this is your sign to start messy, start scared, and just start. Because the magic happens when you move. So if this episode gave you something to think about, remember that you're not alone in the messy middle. Share it with a friend, drop a review, or DM me on Instagram your favorite takeaway. As always, get out there and share this episode on social media so more people like you can find it. If you have any suggestions for topics, fill out the form in the description box, and let's get some more topics you guys love. Like I've been saying in the past few episodes, we will not be having guests as of next year. So any topics you guys want to hear, let me know and we can chat about them. As always, have a great rest of your week. I will see you next week. Farewell, fellow travelers.